A new week, a new set of games to smack our eyeballs. The playoff picture is starting to clear up, but it's far from set. Our job as college football fans, simple. Figure out who truly is deserving of a shot at the ultimate prize at the end of the season, and who is still on fraud alert. So I'd appreciate it if you join me on previewing this week of the college football season. What's up, fellas? Not gonna lie, it feels a bit empty with only one of my teams playing this week. UNLV is on another bye week, which I guess is a good thing. I do need a little less excitement in my life, at least compared to last week's when my Rebels had a thriller against Miami of Ohio that I'm still recovering from. But I think we can all agree that this season has been wildly entertaining so far, and we are now entering the most exciting part of the calendar, conference play. This is where true champions are crowned. Sure, not everyone is playing a league opponent yet, but for most of the Power 4 and Group of 5, it's time to buckle down. Hopefully, we'll see fewer 70-0 blowouts, unless you're UCLA or Oklahoma State. Hey, sorry OSU fans, hope y'all find a good coach. Bruin fans, I don't like you, so I hope you continue doing what you're doing. I love it. Alright, let's not waste any more time, because that is the most valuable currency we do have. Let's jump into week 5 of the college football season. Let's start with my USC Trojans heading up to Champaign, Illinois to face Brett Bielema and the Illinois Fighting Illini. But now, this matchup felt a lot bigger before Illinois completely fucking collapsed against Indiana. Nobody saw that coming. They got worked in every phase of the game. But let's be real, I don't expect that Illinois team to show up this week. Illinois should have too much pride to let that ever happen again. Looking at this from the Illinois side of the equation, Luke Altmaier has to play better. But I won't blame him entirely for last week. The whole offense was terrible. That veteran offensive line that supposedly is their strength got mauled to death, and defensively, they gave up 312 yards rushing to Indiana. It was a combination of being out of place and missing tackles all over the field. If they don't flush that performance out of their system, it could snowball again. And trust me, if Mendoza, Surratt, and the rest of Indiana could light them up, USC's playmakers can do even more damage. Now, to look at this from the USC perspective, the key is to staying focused and blocking out all the noise. Yes, we are finally getting some praise from the media. Don't let that get in your head, please. Are we perfect? No. Our DBs still make me very nervous, especially against a decent quarterback like Altmaier, but our tackling actually looked a whole lot sharper last week against Michigan State than it did the first 3 games. It all starts with our offensive line though. Leading up to this game, we've been able to move people against their will, and Illinois is going to be the first real Big Ten size defense we'll face, so hopefully we could keep that up. If we can get Eli Sanders, Wayman Jordan to keep rolling on the ground, this will be a breeze. If not, we will have to rely on Maiyava's growth as a passer, which so far has looked amazing. Defensively, this is also the first respectable offensive line we will face. I think our defensive line is top 5 in the conference, and this is the game you prove it in. Like I said, they had a bunch of hype coming into the season. If we can demolish them, we'll announce ourselves on that side of the ball. The one thing I'm definitely not worried about is our receivers against their DBs, because even without Jacoby Lane, who is out indefinitely with an injury, our receiving talent should just outclass Illinois' banged up DB room. That is our clear edge, so I would hope that Lincoln test their DBs early. For the prediction, look, I actually hate that we opened up as 7-point favorites. I get it after last week, but I think we win. We won't cover. It might end up like that Michigan-Nebraska game where USC's up by 10 late and then Illinois scores to make it close, but never really threatens to win the game. If we can win this is where our playoff run really starts. So fight on, beat the alumni. I got it that time.
Illini.
You know what? Let's stick with the same theme of a Southern California team heading up to Illinois for our second game. But this time, it's a great value version of the game we just talked about. San Diego State is going to NIU. NIU is 1-2, but both losses are respectable. A blowout to Mississippi State, which, they just kind of got boat raced.
Shit happens.
And a close fist fight with a Maryland team, I might add, that has the best freshman quarterback in the Big Ten, statistically speaking. Problem with NIU so far has been their awful offense. They are only averaging 12.7 points a game. The run game with Siobhan Wright and Telly Johnson Jr. is solid, but has been a non-factor against better defensive lines. San Diego State, on the other hand, looks like a Mountain West dark horse. Outside of that lone loss to Washington State that they got railed in, they've rolled teams, including the demolition of Cal. Wow, was that surprising. Like, legitimately. I don't know if any of you guys watched it, but another surprise about this team is their offense. They're averaging close to 30 points a game with a power running game that sets up their quarterback, Jaden Denegal, because he isn't the most efficient, but he is able to hit big big plays whenever he's protected. I think this comes down to whether Sean Lewis and San Diego State are for reals or are they frauds, because NIU will expose pretenders. So as for my prediction, I think the Aztecs win and cover the 2.5 point spread, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm fully confident in this. I just don't trust Sean Lewis. I think they should have fired him until he went on this run this year. I don't know what to make of it. Let's do some Mountain West honorable mentions, because come on, man, that's my confidence. I love watching them. Utah versus Vandy. Look, Vandy's going to win. Sorry, Aggies, but if you can make it close, then it's a moral victory. New Mexico versus New Mexico State. Isn't this the Rio Grande rivalry or something like that, right? Jason Eck has the New Mexico Lobos rolling right now. I don't care if it's a rivalry game. They're going to win this. Shout out to the Lobos. Hawaii Air Force. Falcons win, and this is just due to me thinking that they rushed Mike Alejado back way too soon. I don't think he's 100%, and they need him to be 100% to win games. App State at Boise. I think Boise wins this game. They don't cover. Still, have some Mountain West pride. Colorado State, Washington State. I regret this. I know I'm going to, at least, but I'm gonna pick CSU. Maybe a new quarterback helps you. I don't know. Hopefully. At the end of the day, your biggest problem isn't a player, it's your coach. All right, let's go over to the SEC now, and what is not just a huge game for the conference, but a huge game for the future playoff picture. Because like it or not, the committee clearly values SEC resumes more than anyone else. Don't forget, they try to convince everyone that Alabama had a chance to get in because of their strength of losses. Fucking clowns, dude. For LSU, this is their first real test. And no, Clemson does not count. Clemson stinks. We all see what that team is this year. Garrett Nussmeier needs to play clean, efficient football. If he's forced to throw for 400 yards and 6 touchdowns, Ole Miss would have won this game. I don't even need to look at the final score. But the actual key to beating this Ole Miss team is to use the shit out of ball control. Hell, their run defense is terrible. They give up nearly 200 rushing yards a game, so LSU should be able to pound it, all night long. Set them up for big play action shots at the end of the game. For Ole Miss, make it a shootout, like I just said. That's a Lane Kiffin specialty anyways. And I think they found their quarterback. Trinidad Chambless, the former Ferris State transfer, has 719 yards in just 2 starts. He's a baller. Honestly, Ole Miss would be dumb if Austin Simmons was healthy and they put him in front of Trinidad. That's another thing though. How did this guy end up at a D2 school? I mean, come on. The talent is there. Shame on all the scouts out there. I just like what Trinidad Chambless has done for this offense. This looks like what Lane Kiffin wants to do with his quarterback. He's able to run the ball and he can get the throws there when they need him to. If you can't tell, for my prediction, I think the Rebels win at home. This is the year Lane Kiffin finally makes noise and probably makes a playoff, because after this game, it's a pretty manageable schedule. I also think Chambless becomes a star overnight. Maybe some Heisman hopes coming to fruition. I don't know. Shout out to them though. Let's finish this up with one more game and some honorable mentions and then get out of here. I think you guys know where I'm going with this one. National Game of the Week. I don't like either of these teams. I do hate one more than the other. Who cares? Oregon at Penn State in a whiteout game. Truth is, neither team has played anybody yet. And Oregon fans, don't brag about beating Okie State. They're awful. They're equivalent to a bad G5 team. Penn State, same deal. I think you guys really haven't played anything other than an FCS team at this point, but you're getting into the real big boy meat of your schedule. For Oregon, the key is Dante Moore. His numbers look great, but he hasn't faced any pressure yet. If Penn State's front rattles him, I think we could see some mistakes that he made at UCLA. Defensively, the Ducks must force Drew Aller to win the game with his arm. Don't let Katron Allen and Nick Singleton run wild, because if they do, they will run you over on their way to a big win at home. For Penn State, finally, I got to give you credit. You guys are using the whiteout game for a real opponent, not just a Purdue or Northwestern later on in the season for no reason, really. So good job. But Drew Aller hasn't proven to me or anybody that hates on him that he can win games like this. So if he wants to shut everyone up, this is his chance. Of course, the line's going to have to dominate because you guys have to run the ball to win this game. Like I just said before, Katron Allen and Nick Singleton have to be a factor for Drew Aller to even think about throwing the ball down the field. For my prediction, look, I'm going to make it simple. I don't like either one of these teams, but I hate Oregon. So it pains me to say this, I just trust them more. James Franklin has showed me time and time again that he cannot win big games. I could say the same thing about Oregon. It's just I trust their talent more. And Dan Lanning, at least his side of the ball is elite most of the time. So the Ducks escape with a win. Whatever. Boo. All right, let me hit you with some honorable mentions. Notre Dame at Arkansas. Look, I think the Razorbacks win this game. Halen Green is too much on offense, and Notre Dame has shown that they cannot stop a running quarterback yet. Ohio State at Washington. The Buckeyes win, but Jonah Coleman and UW, I think they could put them on upset alert. It's going to be a closer game than people expect. Alabama at Georgia, a really good matchup the last 10 years, but Alabama steals this one in Athens. Georgia's defense has not looked good this year, and plus, I think DeBoer needs this game so he doesn't get fired. A battle of the bottom dwellers in the Big Ten. UCLA and Northwestern. The Bruins have to win this game. You don't pay that much to a quarterback just to have no wins. God, I hope you guys lose this one. But I'm picking y'all to win. All right. Louisiana Tech at UTEP. I think the Miners win this. Malachi Nelson is quietly having a great statistical season. I can argue that he actually outplayed Arch when they played each other earlier this year. Well, that's all I got for y'all today. As always, if you like stuff like this, you should think about subscribing. Actually, hold on before I get out of here. Hey, we're so close to 200 subs. I would very much appreciate it if you guys could help me get there before the next video. But while you're here, drop a comment. Let's talk about this week's games or anything college football related. But I think you should like the video.